Hey everybody, it's Paige Evans. I'm excited to be back with Altenew sharing a new process video using their September holiday release. I focused on a few different products, so let me walk you through how this layout was created. So I started with the Bountiful branch stamp set, and it comes with 8 different layers, although one of the layers I couldn't figure out, so 7 layers. And I am using a whole bunch of different colored inks. They're crisp dye inks. And I love that they've got different shades of the same color, so they're monochromatic sets. And I couldn't decide which colorway I wanted to use, so I decided to make a whole bunch of all of them, 4 different colorways. And so I stamped the number 1 stamp. It's really nice because on the stamp sets they are numbered, so you know which order to go in. So I stamped the first one, then I'm grabbing the second one. To prep your stamps, you want to make sure to rub over them with an eraser or a watermark pad, and that preps the surface for stamping. So I don't have one of those special stamping tools so you can get alignment perfectly, so I just do the best I can to stamp, align the stamps. So it's not perfect, but I embrace the imperfections. I like how they look handmade and not super professional like die cuts, so it's all about, the handmade touch. So I peeled off the first one, stamped the second layer, and now I'm going through and stamping the third layer. I started with the lightest color of ink first and worked my way up through the ink set. I'm going to use 3 shades of green and 3 shades of red for each image. So that was the first 3 sets using the green inks, and now I'm using brown for the branches and stamping this across all of them. Didn't have to change colors between. I'm using the same brown for each branch. Once I finished with the branch, this next stamp is the one that I couldn't figure out where it goes. I don't really think it's that necessary. So I skipped it and I moved on to the berries. So this is numbered stamp 6. Layer 6, and I'm switching over to the pink and purple inks. So I'm stamping, again, the lightest color first for all of the berries, and then moving to the next layer, I'll go 1 color up in the inks, and this is another layer for the berries. And I love the variety of colors of inks, so you get all these different varieties of berry bunches. And again, I couldn't pick, so in the end I decided to go with all of them, and I stamped a whole bunch more. The stamping process took a couple hours, but put on some Friends on Netflix and got into a Zen mode. So once I had all of the berry branches stamped, I fussy cut them out. There should be a die for this, a metal die. It would make this process a little bit faster, so hopefully one is coming in the future because that would be awesome. Save some time. Fussy cut all of these berry branches out. Proper name is Bountiful branch. That's the name of this stamp set by Altenew. Alright, so here are all of my fussy cut Bountiful berry branches, and I'm trying to pick a background cardstock or pattern paper, and I also printed a few Christmassy photos. I decided to go with these ones of Fox and Jane in their Christmas jammies, and I decided to use this gray pattern paper from one of their scrapbook kits as my background. But first I'm going to cut one of these cozy flannel cover dies from craft cardstock, and I'm going to use it as a stencil in a little bit. So you can get crafty and creative with your metal dies and use them for other purposes, like as stencils with modeling paste. I spent some time trying to figure out where to put all of these branches. I spent so long creating them all, I want to use as many as possible on a page, but it was a little bit difficult for me to figure out exactly how to arrange them in order to help them shine, I guess. So I thought about putting them in circles, but or coming out from a photo underneath, kind of like mistletoe, or arranging them in the corners. But I decided to create a frame with them. 2 rows of scalloped frames. Since these are kind of half moon shaped, semicircled shape, if you place them together in scallops, you can create a cool frame. Before we get back to the layout, I decided to die cut some evergreen trees. This is called Creative Edges Evergreen Die. So I cut about 5 of them from smooth white cardstock, and it just cuts the edge. So I used a paper trimmer to trim it out and some scissors to trim it out even more. And this will create another fun element on my background. So here's the arrangement. I decided to place the berry branches in, so it's kind of a double layered scalloped frame, and I'm using slightly dimensional foam squares to adhere them in place one by one, and I like how the edges bend up and create lots of dimension and shadows. And again, it was fun to stamp all of these in lots of different colors. I'm all about the color, and I think they all work really great together. I couldn't pick just one, so the more color the better. So here's where I'm using this cover die as a stencil, and I'm applying modeling paste through. This might have been easier to do before adhering the berry branches in place, but it's all good. It still works. And again, I'm not too worried about it being clean. I like the messy factor. So yeah, just scraping some modeling paste. It's white modeling paste by Liquitex, and it dries really quickly. I even helped it along with a hairdryer. And this just adds a fun texture to the background. I'm also spritzing and dropping some iridescent spray mist, also by Altenew, on the background to give it some shimmer and shine. And here is where I am going to layer these evergreen dies across the bottom, just for another layer and element of fun. And I got all these fun Christmassy holiday products and wanted to feature as many of them as I could on a single layout. And it just creates more of a holiday scene, you know, gives some foundation to the photos. I had 2 photos, but I actually only ended up using 1 because I wanted a place for my title. So I loved this Merry Christmas stamp. It's from the Mini Christmas stamp set. So I used black StazOn ink, and I'm stamping it on smooth white cardstock, and then I fussy cut it out, but it was a little bit too small. And so I got technical and I took a picture of this stamp set. I used Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator to turn it into a cut file. So it's not an official cut file by Altenew, I just kind of cheated and made it one. And so I had my silhouette draw and die cut it out, and then I'm going to backstitch through this title. So this Merry Christmas title is an enlarged version of this stamp, and I'm using all 6 strands of white DMC embroidery floss to backstitch through this title, and I love the white on white texture since I have a lot of white on white going on. Just wanted to add another piece of that. And I typed, printed, and trimmed a couple lines of journaling, and that, my friends, is the finished layout. I hope you are inspired to check out the holiday release from Altenew, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Have a great day.